No, Mace, I was just so excited to hear that you not only wanted to see me for crosstalk in a little bit,
Yep.
but needed to speak to me beforehand. That's where our relationship has really grown over the years. That
It,
twice a day is fine.
it's 2 days. You're right. It's that time of year, Mike.
Yeah,
So now
yeah,
you are
exactly.
the guy that analyzes the schedule better than anybody else. It is out now. I got a few questions. How many national TV games?
Well, all of them. Okay, so this never changes. The Lakers always have the max number of national TV games. I don't care if it's when they were doing the rebuilding a couple of years after Kobe, before LeBron. They still had the max. Everybody still wants to watch the Lakers, so that doesn't change. The only thing that changes is that with Amazon and with NBC coming in, they've actually increased the number of national exclusives. So it used to be 12 max. And then the rest of those national TV games you would have side by side. So we would still have the games on Spectrum with Billy and Stu, and then whether it was TNT or ESPN. This year that number goes up to 15, and so there won't be Spectrum for those three games, but you'll still have the pre and the post on Spectrum for the hour before and after. But that's the biggest change, guys. Just even more national exclusives as I think that obviously Amazon and NBC negotiated some of that into their new contracts.
One of the things, Mike, you always do a really good job tracking down is the miles for the Lakers and traveling, and which matters a lot because they're a West Coast team. How is the travel looking this year in terms of the toll it could take on the team?
Andy, it's a good question. By the way, the schedule article will be out soon. It's all done. We're just kind of waiting to tweet it out, I think, until a couple of I's are dotted and such. But I do have the mileage. Let's see. It is 43,000 on the Delta Charter plane this season. It's been around there the last couple of years. I think last year it was 44,000. The team that travels the most in the West, which they never say, I'm assuming that it's Portland. Just some that for the flights like the Portland to Miami flight alone, I feel like it's several thousand miles. They're 8,000 miles above what the Lakers are, and then the team that flies the fewest in the West is about 3,000 less than the Lakers, so like around 41,000. And you would assume that that's either Minnesota or New Orleans or one of the teams that's more centrally located.
One of the things I always look at right away is back-to-backs. Do the Lakers have a lot of back-to-backs this year?
They have 14, Mace, so that is up one from last year when it was 13. 2 years ago it was 15, so it's right in that general area. The weirdest thing that popped out about the schedule, and if you have a chance to go through it, there is basically an NFL-style bye week for the Lakers the third week in November, with the exception of one game.
Really?
So let me break this down further. So they play. There's a back-to-back on the 14th and the 15th, New Orleans and Milwaukee on the road. Then there's only one game in the next 7 days, and that's against Utah at home on the 18th. So they're off the 16th to 17th, and then off the 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd before playing at Utah. And I like that just as a way of, hey, there's 14 games. Let's go hard, get a bunch of wins, and then you're going to get this rest period, especially for a guy like LeBron in year 23, right? Nobody's ever played a 23rd season. So that's something I haven't seen before, guys. And Andy, I don't know if you remember, I've never seen a week where there's only one game in the middle of November.
Okay, you are correct. I don't recall anything like that before. B, this might be putting you in an unfair ask just because it may be something you wouldn't know, but I'm going to ask anyway. Do you think that this could be in some way an acknowledgement or even compensating a bit for LeBron's age? Just like the idea of we want to get somebody like LeBron through a whole season. We can't take it easy on him, but here's maybe a little bit of pocket of rest for him.
Yeah, I mean, my initial instinct would be no, Andy, just because it's got to be so hard just to make the schedule work for everybody with the arenas and the dates and the home and the away. And to me, like the thing that actually has tripped the schedule up a little bit in terms of how they want to plan it the last couple of years has really been the NBA Cup, because they have to leave those 4 dates in it's basically early December that are open, and once they figure out which teams advance to the quarterfinals, then they backfill whatever those other games are. So I think it could just be something like that, where since they had to keep those dates open, that they backfill in a different way. But that would be my best speculation.
I'm looking right now too, by the way, at this week that we're talking about, the gap. It ends with them playing Utah at home, and then they're off for a week, and then they go to Utah. In theory, given how terrible we all think Utah is going to be, that could be a relatively easy game for the Lakers, maybe a game where LeBron, Luka, Austin, those guys play less as it is. So it starts feeling like maybe even functionally a longer break for them.
It's a fair way to look at it, Andy. Also, I would just say this. You can't look at almost any other team in the West as a potential off night. And even if you look at Utah that way, maybe that's the night that they play Markin in 37 minutes, right? And they get hot and they run and gun and everybody's loosey-goosey. But that's the other thing when you look through the entire schedule, Mace. It's not like, oh, here's an easy week, because even if you look at the teams at the bottom of the West of where we think they might be, a team like Portland, who didn't make the playoffs last year, well, they just got Drew Holiday in a trade. They've got all these young big wings like Denny Avdia and Tumani Kamara, and like there's just the talent and the level of the depth in the West is such that you can't look at any month of the season and think, oh, yeah, the Lakers got to pass. Like, you really have to bring it. And I thought that they did a good job of doing that last year under J.J. Redick. And, maybe the name that we should have mentioned from the start of this is it's always easier when you have a superstar in his prime in the best shape of his life in Luka Doncic. So that should paper over some of those times where you look at the schedule and think, that could be a tough week, a tough month.
So I saved my most important question for last. This is the one that has a direct impact on me, Mike, and that is road trips. Because when the Lakers go on a road trip,
when you come and hang out,
I would love to. I would love to go on a road trip. We should work on that.
Mace, between me, Ireland, Michael, right, Billy Mack, any of us, I'm sure, are comfortable either making sure that we get the 2 queen beds instead of the king, or I don't think Michael would mind it a little over under. You know what I mean on the king bed. So like all of us are happy to make an arrangement for you.
But here's the thing: when the road trips determine when I've got Ireland on the show and when I don't have Ireland on the show. So what is the longest road trip of the year?
Okay, so January 19th to February 3rd. It is there's a caveat in this, but it's technically an 8-game, 15-day trip. However, the second game of that trip is at the Clippers. So in other words, so we're going to Denver, coming back for 3 days, right? The 21st, 22nd, 23rd, then leaving for Dallas. So it really ends up being more like the 24th, which for Mason and Ireland terms, that's a weekend. So,
yes.
Okay, how about this? If the last week in January and like half of the first week in February be a little tougher for you to get, John, but it is on the East Coast, so isn't it a little easier sometimes to get that the Mason Ireland show out of the way before the game starts?
Yeah, no, it definitely is. By the way, we do there are a lot of technical people here that make sure that we get John whenever we can possibly get John. So yeah, it doesn't mean he'll be gone all that time, but he'll definitely be gone some of that time. When will he get to go to Gus's in Memphis? I get so sick of him talking about Gus's
just go to
in
the
Memphis.
One in LA.
It's like, my God, there's one over there. And it's like, no, I got to get the pork chop at the Gus's.
Yeah, no. Well, no.
The pork chop is Minnesota.
That's fried chicken.
Oh, fried chicken.
The fried chicken at Gus's.
I mix up these restaurants he talks about endlessly.
No, that'll be October 31st, Mace. We'll be in Memphis, so get ready for like that last week in October. You'll be hearing about Gus's.
Very excited for that. Halloween and Gus's, they go together.
That's right.
All right, now you're on this afternoon?
Yep. I'll see you in a couple hours. Boys.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much for all the info, Mike. Appreciate it, man.
All right.
There is Mike Trudell and an overview of the Lakers' schedule. We'll let you know and retweet his article when he sends it out, because he always does a great analysis of everything.
Great breakdown.
And we should mention the way the season starts is home to Golden State, then home to Minnesota, up at Sacramento, then home to Portland, and then they have a 2-hop trip at Minnesota and at Memphis. So 2 home games at Sacramento, one of the easier outs in the Western Conference. Home to Portland, as Mike described, they're better this year, but still one of the easier outs in the Western Conference. So hopefully get off to a very, very good start. And there you have that. There you have that. Laura, any questions for you?
Do you disagree with Mace's assessment of hope they get off to a great start?
No, why would I?
Do you get tired of hearing about Gus's fried chicken?
No, because I want to try it.
What about the pork chop in Minnesota? You get tired of that one?
I'm a little
just
tired
go
of
to
that.
the Gus's in L.A. Like there is
a Gus's.
There's
here.
a Gus's. I want to say
heard it's not the same.
Oh,
it's good.
The guys say
the only
it's
thing
not the
different
same.
is the address.
The guys say it's not the same.
I'll say this one. There is one. It's kind of Koreatown-ish. I want to say it's either Vermont or Western or Crenshaw. Very, very good. And there's one either in Glendale or Burbank, also really good.
Oh,
yeah.
Are they all Gus's?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,